the last edition of Viz Review for 2022. Great to have you all. You can probably hear that I'm not at 100%, but we'll see how today goes. So let me share my screen and actually get started here. So I don't even know what the data is this week. Let's start with that. UK religion. Oh yes, that's right. I heard Andy talk about this when he found the data. And if you are watching, I can see that the live stream is working, but if you can just give me a little thumbs up that you can hear me okay, that will be super helpful. So it's the 2021 census in charts, looking at the religion. How many people don't follow any religion? Okay, so Christian, no religion, Muslim, not stated, Hindu, Sikh, other, Buddhist, Jewish. All right, so let's see what people have created. That first one. So this was done at the airport by Anastasia. Let's see. And hopefully, yes, it all displays okay. Brittany can hear me. Hello, Brittany. Good to have you on the chat on the Viz Review live stream, and congratulations on getting to the Iron Viz final. I'm a big fan. I'll be cheering for you. So, UK Religious Affiliations 2011 versus 2021. So this, I mean, every week, because I really am just involved in Viz Review. I'm a good test for whether your Viz is easy enough to read, because if I understand it, if I can make sense of it, then that's a really good indication, because I haven't looked at the data ahead of time. I haven't looked at the topic. I don't know what's going on. Let's see what this is all about. I'm cool with the title. I would like a little explanation of what we're looking at. This could include something about, the data comes from the census. There has been a trend of XYZ, and this Viz is divided up into the different regions of the UK, or this one in this case that looks like it's England. Yeah, a little bit of context would be really helpful here. And then we have the number of people, I imagine. So again, I need some descriptions or labels of what million versus percentage, what that represents. My guess is that the millions are the people, and the percentage is the gain or the change between 2011 and 2021. But yeah, make sure that's clear and idiot-proof so that people don't misinterpret what you're showing. It looks like this is sorted alphabetically. I think I would sort it kind of geographically, because you have nine sections. So the Southwest, thankfully, is in the Southwest. West Midlands could be a bit higher. Northwest, I would put in the Northwest. Northeast, I would put in the Northeast. So it won't be perfect, but it would be more logical. It's kind of like if you have North, South, East, and West, you would put them kind of top, bottom, left, and right. Respectively to what they are. So I think that's one thing I would change there. Other than that, I think I would just like a bit of a takeaway, because at the moment it is a data visualization, and it's a good data visualization, but it doesn't really tell me what's going on. I have to do all the interpreting. I have to see whether 2021, so purple is it more or less? I can tell by the red bar, but there's a lot of work for me to do as the audience. And because I don't have context about this data set and maybe some of the article from The Guardian, there's a lot of assumptions I have to make because I don't have the information. That would be my feedback. But the Viz itself, I really like. So nice work. This is a different data set. Okay, let's have a look here. Which local? Okay, so this is interesting. If I look at the picture, it's flat. When I look at Tableau Public, I get this really strange. It looks like a floor tiling mosaic, like really cool as a floor design, but it doesn't look like a circle anymore. So which local authority has the highest atheists? Well, then hopefully they're not all high. It should be the highest number of atheists, not the highest atheists, because that means something very different. The below viz shows us. So that needs a bit of tidying up. So I wouldn't call it viz. That's quite casual, and I think you want to elevate your work a little bit by, saying maybe this visualization or this analysis shows us a breakdown with a K, of each local authority in the UK, not just local authority. Like, make sure that you tell people where this is, where the state is from. Grouped by the religion, not region. Or is it region? Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, that's fine. Group by the region based on its population. That's quite a lot to think about. Like, it's a breakdown of each local authority grouped by their region based on its population. What does it actually mean? It means how many people in each local authority, but then summarized into a region. So if it's a region, why even mention the local authority? So maybe just say, this visualization, I mean, what it shows is how many people in each region identify as being part of a specific religion. Now, I don't know what I'm looking at right now. Is it filtered? Let's click on Christian. Okay, so it was filtered to no religion. So click a button to filter the religion. Religion should be lowercase. So now I can look at this. So the limitation of this kind of visualization is, for me to find one of these places, I need to look at almost every single cell until I find it. And that's not really fun, because it's a guessing game. There's obviously larger ones, but for example, I would have thought the largest one, well, I guess the London ones are broken up. But this is just a lot of work for me to do. So if you want people to explore it, make it easy for them to find what they're looking for. So if you're saying which local authority has the highest number of Christians, okay, where's the answer? If I click on Christian, then maybe you should highlight or label the top 3 automatically. So Birmingham, Leeds, and I don't know which one the next one is, because I have to guess based on the shape. A bar chart would give you the answer straight away. Yeah, this doesn't really do it for me. And I think I like being able to explore, but it's a lot of work for me to actually find the answer to the question. So it doesn't really live up to what I'm expecting. Okay, Takafumi, let's have a look. UK religious affiliations, percentage point difference in population by religion. Okay, very matter of fact, not very descriptive. Like the first viz, I'm getting the numbers, but I don't get a story. And when I say story, it doesn't need to be some like elaborate storytelling. It just needs to give me enough context for me to really understand what's going on. So tell me, instead of percentage point difference in population by religion 2011 versus 2021, tell me this visualization shows the growth or decline in people identifying or being associated with a specific religion between 2011 how do you say it? In 2021 compared to 2011. So Christians, minus 13.4%, no, percent points. So that's the other thing, that it's the percentage points rather than the percentage difference. That's a lot of, again, it's too much mental work for a lay audience. People will think it's minus 13%, but it's not. It's the difference between 58.8% and 45.3%. So I would make that easier for people to understand. So make the actual percentage difference. Why not? Yeah. I do like the simplicity of the colors. I think there's a lot of empty space that could be used better, because at the moment I need to scroll quite a lot, and at least, well, it's probably 2/3 of it is blank space. So I think that could be laid out a bit differently. Okay, pat. Is there a link? Adobe Illustrator. Okay, let's have a look. Let's open this image. Okay, so Brittany's using Chrome on a Windows machine. I've had this issue before, but I think it was showing me the mobile versions. I'm not sure. It could be my thing. I don't seem to have issues other than with Tableau Public. So yeah. So anyway, let's go to this viz. Christianity is not a majority religion in England anymore. So there's a cool opening headline. It tells me the gist of this data. So based on this headline, I can assume that in the past, Christianity was the majority religion, but it's not anymore for some reason. It could be that there are more other religions, or more people associating with other religions, or maybe fewer people overall associating with any religions. So census should be with an S, a small typo there. So the census revealed that Christianity became a minority religion in England and Wales. I don't know if I would. I mean, maybe that's a technical term, minority of religion. That just sounds like it went from 60% to 10% or something. Yeah, a question for me is that's the right term. A key finding from the census is that there's a significant rise in people identifying with no particular faith at all. I don't blame them. London is the region with the lowest share of Christians. London is also the most diverse, probably, city in this country in terms of people from different religious and ethnic backgrounds living in the city. So I don't know if you would have more atheists or just more different religions, just more of a melting pot. Least people identifying with no religion. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Christianity, Northwest and Northeast. The below visualization. Okay, so England. So just make sure to fix those typos. That's always an easy one to fix. Religious structure in England by region. Again, census is spelled incorrectly. So it looks like, so what's the sort order here? I think there needs to be logic. Either it should be the most populous region down to the least. So you would start with the northeast, and then London, like going by the millions of people. I think also MLN is not a very common abbreviation for million in English. It would be M or MIO. I do like the visualization, but I think it's a bit vague. So there's no color legend, but it looks like no religion is this kind of pinkish color. So 27%, it doesn't look too dissimilar from 40%. Like, I think having some clear lines would make it a bit easier to see the shape. Because at the moment, there's a lot of yellow with Christian, because it's still quite dominant. But I think if there were clearer lines, then every one of these circles would look different. I do like the approach. I think it's very artistic, and it's different. But I think it's a bit vague. And at first glance, they literally all look the same to me. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and then we have the next one. Steiner. Religious affiliation in the UK for the years 2011, 2021. Christian, okay. Now, this could be my formatting, my display issue, but there seems to be a strange line break after decreased. And also they don't need to, so non-religious doesn't need to be capitalized. Non-religious Muslim have increased. Okay, so question, does the bar chart need to be that wide? It's a really wide app for wide visualization. It doesn't need to be that wide because I'm reading Christian here on the left, but I have to read all the way to the other side of the screen to then look at, oh, it's about 31 something million. So you could make that more compact or add labels at the end instead of, or in addition to the header. I think, or sorry, the axis. I think that would be really nice having, even if it's like 31.5 mil. That would be helpful just to show what the magnitude is. Okay. And then again at the bottom, like just make it bunched up a bit. So it's a bit tighter. Christian, no religion, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh. Okay. Now comparing these, God, my brain isn't really functioning. Comparing these heat maps over time is really difficult because I have to kind of scroll up and down, look on the left. There's something selected here. Look on the left, look over, like look at the matrix structure and then jump down. And it doesn't really look very different. Like they both look pretty much the same, apart from no religion having a deeper shade of blue. But really, it's hard to compare. And it's just the thing at the top, but broken down a bit in more detail by the affiliations and the regions. So what you could consider for a comparison is a slope chart, because you have two distinct data points. You've got 2011 and 2021. So you could show, you know, Christian went up, Christian went down. That might be easier. And then you could have a breakdown of those by like the heat map basically as a slope chart. I think that might be easier to compare. Okay. And then we have Yusuki. Let's have a look. Okay, looks like I'm zoomed in, but let's zoom out a bit. Religious affiliations in the UK, in England, the percentages increased. Okay, so you have a sentence here. In England, the percentage of people with no religious affiliation has increased. But where do I see that? I see it in the bar, but first I need to know to look, or I have to know to look for that. So even if you just have like a dotted line or an arrow pointing to this box so that people know, oh, okay, that's the bit I'm looking for, that already will be helpful. I'd also suggest putting a space between no and religion because it's a bit hard to read. Other than that, let's have a look at this. Okay, so there's a lot of blank space at the bottom of this viz, strangely enough. I do like the breakdown. I think that's neat, but it needs more space because I don't want to scroll that much when there's all the space at the bottom. Okay. Okay, Tiffany, let's have a look. Okay, so there is a bit of a slope chart going on here. Shift in religious affiliation in the UK. Again, that could be an actual sentence of, okay, what was the shift like? Or what's the one example? What do we have? So East Midlands. It looks like, I'm sorry, guys. So So we have not religious, which is green. We've got Christian, that's reds. Never reuse green and reds together. Well, that's not quite true, but avoid it wherever you can. So you've got those two. Why are they so far apart in the color legend? And also, is it really a color legend if there are 7 values that have the same color? You also have the double encoding. You've got the thickness of the line showing where it's gone up or down. But I don't understand, in this case, why 59% would be thinner than 45%. So that doesn't really make sense to me. Yeah, I do like how this shows very clearly Christian going down and not religious going up. I think that's really good. But I think the labeling needs to be a bit clearer, especially because those two are the ones you're drawing my attention to. So label those first, move the other ones to the right. And if they're all the same color, which I think they're kind of shades of colors, but you can't really tell, you could even like lump them together or not, or like say, hover to see the label or something. But I would keep the thickness of the line the same. So don't use a value on the size of the line, because that can easily get quite confusing, especially down there where they were lumped together. I like the map on the left. So percentage of population that are no religion. I would word that slightly differently. I would just say that, don't affiliate with a religion or something, because it just sounds nicer, like grammatically. I wonder what happens if I change to Christian. What happens to our color legend? The color legend stays the same, but the values change. So make sure you fix that so that it always starts with, let's say, 0%, 0 to 50 or something, because then they're actually comparable. But I do like the map. I like the breakdown and the color coding of the different areas. That's really cool. Thank you. Let's have a look at Sebastian's. How has religious affiliation changed in the United Kingdom? Okay, so observation. And then what's on the right side? Differential. Okay, so on the left, we've got the actual numbers. On the right, we have the difference. You're saying among all the regions, Northwest is the one with the smallest decrease. Where's the Northwest? It's somewhere in the middle. How do I know it's the smallest decrease? I think if you call out something specific, make sure I can actually see that in the viz, because that might be the thing I'm interested in or where I want to start. At first glance, if I just scroll, they all look the same. They genuinely all look the same. I don't see any pattern. I also don't understand why I'm having all these data points. So Christian and no religion, that's where we're having most of the difference. So you could reorder these so that they're closer together. So a decrease in people associating with Christianity is the orange dot next to the blue snowflake or star. But that's a lot for me to think about, and there's no instruction. So the very obvious changes are not so obvious, because the viz just gives me a lot of dots and a lot of words, but not really any description of what I'm looking at. And everything looks very, very similar, because across all regions, there's been change mainly to Christian and no religion. And that's just not something that's very obvious to me. So I would rethink that a bit. Okay, I think I've got one more in me before my voice gives up. Ayush. Let's have a look. Oh, a story. Although the population of England, it didn't arise, it rose. So instead of arose, it should be rose or grew by 3.5 million and then remove the but, the absolute number of people following Christianity, associating with Christianity or with Christian faith, saw a major drop in all regions of England, not of the England. Space after the full stop. So these are like tidy up things that ideally I wouldn't comment on, because ideally you do them. There's extra spaces in here, like there's a lot of color in this text. I'm not going to read it all. There's a lot of color. It's very confusing. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different colors in this paragraph of 5 lines. I don't know why. It's not really that important to highlight everything. Make sure that your spelling is correct, because quite frankly, when I look at something where there's a lot of spelling mistakes in the first sentence or the first paragraphs, and I understand not everyone speaks English as their first language, I don't either, but it does make me tune out. It makes me not want to look at stuff, because it just looks sloppy. And I know that's harsh, but you can always copy all this text, put it through a spell check, and get it right. I think that's just a very good practice to do. So we've got the religions, decrease or increase, and we've got the different regions. What's the story? The story is that Christianity had declined. And I don't know what else there is. But yeah, I think that's clear from this. But again, ideally don't use red and green together, because there are people who, for them, these arrows will look very, very similar in color. So they can only tell by the shape of the arrow whether it's pointing up or down. If you tell them there's a red arrow, they will not necessarily see that there's a red arrow. They will maybe perceive it to be some shade of brown or gray. So also, do you need a black background? Everything looks very different on black. You'll probably get a cleaner looking viz if it's on a white background, especially because you don't have any influence over the user interface here of Tableau Public. So it's a black thing stuck on a white thing. And yeah, just as a suggestion that you don't necessarily need a black background here. Okay, I think I'll have to leave it at that, because my throat is getting a bit sore. But I hope that you found this useful and that you learned some stuff. And yeah, that's it for this year. Have a great Christmas. If you're celebrating Christmas, we just looked at a data set where there will be plenty of people who, for them, Christmas is not really an event. I'm really curious, if you don't celebrate Christmas, what does Christmas time of the year feel like? Like, do you have a really relaxed time at work because none of us in predominantly Christian countries bother you and send you emails and stuff? Or, what's it like? Or what do you celebrate? So if you're taking a break, if you are celebrating, then have a great time. And I will be back in the new year. I know there will be a Maker Wonder data set next week. We just won't do this review because we'll be on a break. So take care, have a good time, stay safe.